So welcome. I've been asked to explain the Global Free Society in under 30 minutes, so I will try my absolute best. First though, I must explain that this is going to be an extremely brief summary of the book Global Free Society and a brief summary of the video explainer series viewable on YouTube and also our website globalfreesociety.com. And my objective here is to pique your interest enough so that you will want to look into this new concept and ideology deeper. And hopefully join us and let's see where we can take this. Okay, so 30 minutes or less, let's go. The Global Free Society is a completely unique system that covers all aspects of a global society. It's a social, environmental, logistical and even technical solution to humanity's ongoing challenges. And it's radical, very radical. So let's start with the many Global Free Society objectives and aims as detailed on the website. The Global Free Society is a people's initiative to explore new ways of cooperation between all countries' populations here on planet Earth. And we believe the solutions can no longer be found within the established governments or corporations. Therefore, all initiatives will need to be driven by the ever-growing number of disenfranchised society members. So that's you and me. And this cooperation will provide a firm base to then look at the perpetual issues challenging humanity since our early days, with a view to correcting the course of humanity. The Global Free Society views these ongoing challenges as global issues that cannot be successfully addressed by a single country or even a limited collaboration of well-meaning developed countries. And the issues of immediate concern, and therefore will be our main focus of our work, are as follows. So, global cooperation, ultimately leading to an end to wars. Shared vision, to unite humanity in the pursuance of a designed global system of social, industrial and logistical perfection fit for purpose. Pure democracy, the end to the current political systems, utilising technology to allow all of humanity the right to vote on all matters of local, national and global importance. And this would mean the end of the current political systems we see in place today. Ethics of governance, revised ways of implementing the people's wishes. And this represents the only system that is truly people-centric, we feel. The only way we believe humanity will arrive at the truly fair and just system for all. Sustainability through a resource-based economy, smart consumption and consolidation of products and production. Product durability, recyclability and upgradability built into all our goods where meaningful. And many other tactics detailed in the book Global Free Society. Freedom in every sense of the meaning for the individual. So freedom of speech, movement, thought, expression, and freedom from fear, totalitarianism, reprisal, and freedom of beliefs. Healthcare for all equal in need. Food production, sustainable, ethical, nutritional, and environmentally considerate. Education, globally available for all, no barriers. Equal representation, equality, and equity for all. Ethics and responsibility of all media channels, arrived at through a fair and reasonable new law system. Transparency in all governmental matters, both locally and past, present and future. The end of the monetary system, an end to the perpetually damaging influence and control by the monetary system on humanity, and to invest in the research of provable and beneficial alternatives as initially detailed in the book. And the Global Free Society will seek funding into furthering a global citizen-led approach to all these issues. The research will be completely independent and not influenced by governments or corporations. And the ultimate aim is for a humanity united in opportunity and not divided by borders and separated by any labels. The main strategies and initial suggestions for tactics are outlined in the book Global Free Society, which is available free as a download from our website. The strategies and tactics outlined in the book are not designed to be the final work, because that would be absolutely impossible at this stage. So instead they represent a blueprint and as such requires further input from anyone anywhere on the planet with the right knowledge and background. It is a first draft. It's a conversation starter that will be refined and perfected over time. But despite that, the ideas and ideology set out provide a strong starting place to begin sharing this new ideology with the idea to garner more support and research and resources to allow the end goals to be achieved in our lifetimes. This is an ambitious plan, possibly the most ambitious plan humanity as a whole has been asked to consider to date. But it is a plan that is achievable, only requiring enough like-minded souls to understand the concept and join our desire for a new paradigm. And we don't need to create anything more or invent any new technologies. We have everything already on planet Earth to make life far more rewarding for us all. To add more detail to this very bold statement, I will now summarise the strategies and some of the key tactics. The Global Free Society is formed of 7 key strategies which are made up of multiple tactics. And we don't have time to go into much of the reasoning behind each strategy or tactic. This is just to give an example of the overall concept, the ethos, the philosophy. So let's now go through the 7 strategies. Strategy 1. Unify the global population through a shared vision. We believe that the single most unifying action we can take is to create a vision statement for all of humanity. Most of our global problems derive from a complete lack of vision from our current global leaders. And from what we could observe, it seems self-evident that our current global leaders are happy for humanity to be divided and thus more able to be controlled, incompetence or deliberate. Either way, the answer is for the people of all countries to unite under a single vision, a single ideology, a plan, a roadmap, and a guarantee of freedom in the broadest possible sense. And we believe we should be the ones to direct that vision, that plan, we being the wider population of planet Earth, the people that actually do the work. And we believe we should put people and the planet first. Not the political parties and not large corporations and definitely not any elite secret societies. Humanity's greatest strength is in our numbers, and when united we will be unstoppable. The simple action of a shared vision statement will give direction and far more purpose to our collective lives, and it will create a much needed feeling of global citizenship and therefore global cooperation. So here's the first draft, the blueprint version, awaiting your input and your revision. We, a unified humanity, shall work together and agree to equally share all resources dependent upon need. We shall ensure freedom for everyone in all aspects of the meaning with simple laws agreed by consensus, allowing all to follow and adhere to without restricting personal choice. Non-harm and tolerance in all forms will be the centre of our society and be applicable to all persons and collectives without exception. And we shall all take responsibility for our personal actions with tolerance and respect at the very core of our society. An equal voice in all decisions and of local and global importance will be our right, and acceptance of the society's decisions will be given by all. Restoring our beautiful and abundant planet to its former glory shall be at the forefront of our efforts, and finding new ways to live in symbiosis with our planet will be our main objective. The personal pursuit of happiness and fulfillment will be our new focus through career choice as well as personal time to enjoy the fruits of our collective abundance. Freeing mankind from needless drudgery by utilising our immense combined intellect will be our shared goal, allowing all of humanity the freedom to experience life to its fullest and reach our greatest potential individually and as a collective. Honesty, transparency and integrity shall permeate our entire global culture, and we will take immense pride in the planet and the resources we leave for our children. Even just one member of humanity not receiving all laid out in the global agreement will be seen as a failure of our desire to make this worthy dream a reality, and we will not let that happen. As stated, this is just an initial version, just to give an idea of the ethos, the ideals. And you're invited to try your hand at perfecting a final version. For more detail on the intended meaning and objectives behind each paragraph, please refer to the website or the free downloadable book. Strategy 2. the end of the monetary system. Money is the root of all evil. We have all said it. We all agree. So why do we not want to change it? The monetary system is at the very least a control system. Permission slips that give us all a false sense of value in the world. The monetary system today has grown organically through a necessity to exchange goods when our global logistical systems were far less sophisticated than they are today. And that is obviously no longer the case. And in the book I argue that this system is outdated and holding back all of humanity from a peaceful and extremely prosperous future. And the book details tactics on how we could implement a moneyless society over a period of time. The benefits of ending this system are huge and pervading in society, but let's just cover some of the key advantages for now. The monetary system demands that we become busy fools, working needlessly to produce goods and services just for the purpose of turning money. And this in turn leads to a huge waste of resources, both physical and even intellectual. And it stops us valuing the most important commodity humans have, our own time, our own lives. And removing this outdated system means that we can prioritise our leisure and family time and reduce the necessity to work 5 days a week for almost our entire adult lives. The Global Free Society goal is for a 3-day week for all initially. And this is accomplished by ending all jobs that are purely financial in nature. So banking, insurance, cashiers, stock markets, tax collection as an example. Ending these unproductive job roles means we will have far more global population available to actually perform productive roles for the benefit of us all. And through a resource-based economy, we can now address the false values within our global society. False values are found in all aspects of our lives. Without monetary restrictions and just based on our own resources, we can achieve quality global healthcare. And we can employ the doctors and nurses we need. We can afford to clean our oceans, to stop deforesting and reverse the trend. And we can show an unprecedented increase in animal welfare, both in industry and private ownership. We can educate the entire planet, stop manufacturing needless rubbish, build our much needed housing, and now without necessarily increasing our footprint. And we can repair goods, we can build in durability, recyclability, and end inbuilt obsolescence. Ending the monetary system stops us competing amongst ourselves. And this allows consolidation of products and of manufacturing, which in turn allows us to reduce and control pollution. The system also encourages independent businesses and gives the owners unparalleled support to a level not even discussed anywhere on the planet today. Automation under a capitalist model is the people's enemy. Under the Global Free Society, it is our best friend. And we can also consider new ways of producing crops. It also allows us to consider many alternative systems that under the monetary system would not be deemed financially viable. But in the new proposed system, they could now seem to be sensible investments of our resources and in our planet's future. Under this system, we can reevaluate our priorities, with quality of life being the main objective. And to realise this dream, all we need to do is make some changes here and here. And I don't think we need to make many changes here. Humanity is already there. We just need to stop believing the constant bad press we keep giving ourselves. We just need to make a big change here. To challenge the ingrained belief that the world will only go around with a monetary system to control us. That we must have permission slips to allow us to do what we want to do the work we know that must be done. And maybe we can finally admit that we're all suffering from the Stockholm Syndrome where the monetary system is concerned. The definition being feelings of trust or affection felt in many cases of kidnapping or hostage taking by a victim towards a captor. Surely this defines this explains best our current relationship with the monetary system. The monetary system demands we compete amongst ourselves. The truth is we don't, as long as there is a better alternative system. And that's what the Global Free Society offers. By ending the monetary system, we're only removing competition between ourselves. We're removing the middleman, and we're removing the control system. And I could probably do the entire 30 minutes just on these benefits, but we don't have time. So please watch the longer videos for far more on this concept. Strategy 3. The end of politics as we know it. The Global Free Society believes that due to the technological developments we have globally, we now no longer need to relinquish our decision-making powers and our authority to a ruling elite. A ruling elite that some would argue are incapable of even understanding the average human plight. So our aim is to remove these outdated and unrepresentational systems and replace them with a system of pure democracy. The definition of pure democracy is democracy in which the power is exercised directly by the people rather than through representatives. And we believe this right must be exercised on all matters of importance, locally, nationally, and even globally. And this will be facilitated by technology already available to us today. The physical replacement of the current political system, as proposed in the book, is the form of councils. At the top is the core council made up of the best candidates from any country, all experts in their category. The next level in the vertical system is the country councils and then the regional councils, all joined up and working together globally. The solution then requires a separate council at each level for each aspect of our lives, so healthcare, manufacturing, education, transport, etc. And the role of the councils is not to make decisions on our behalf, but to research best practices and options for the people to decide upon through the technology-based voting system, through pure democracy. All the council's actions will be in alignment with our global goals and aims outlined in our co-authored vision statement we discussed earlier. The major benefit of this system is that it removes any person's or group's ability to force their agenda upon the wider population. It also ensures that humanity is working together globally with an end goal in mind, and the end goal being a design system that will be fairer and more rewarding for the individual and, of course, the environment. The current organically grown global systems cannot support our new ambitions and desires, and this we feel is the only system proposed that ensures we manage our resources wisely through smart consumption, leading to a sustainable future for mankind. Strategy 4. Education. The Global Free Society knows that our planet's future will be shaped by our children and of course our children's children. And we must invest in education and new educational systems as an absolute priority. And the new system proposed recognises the individuality of all pupils and offers a learning experience that facilitates and encourages that uniqueness. And we strongly argue that this is ultimately for the benefit of everyone on planet Earth. And the drivers for this being shorter weeks for the students in line with the adults, more flexible hours, greatly reduced class sizes, maximising the benefit of technology, and also introducing play into the learning methods through various initiatives. And maybe most significantly, the end of annual tests, to be replaced with a system that allows the student to develop at their own pace and be graded when they and their teacher feel that they are ready. And unlimited retests as and when necessary, of course. For the society that we're trying to create, we strongly believe that with greater freedoms comes much greater responsibility. And the educational system is critical in producing that more socially aware and responsible society member. The educational system must be given the chance to help create the future citizen not damaged by the artificial restrictions imposed on us today. And whatever the cost in resources or manpower, this investment must be covered by us as a society. Because surely this is the best investment that we can ever make for the future of humanity and of course planet Earth. So strategy 5, new minds, new solutions. So this represents a collection of tactics now a possibility if we end the monetary system and move to a resource-based global economy. And in this new system, all our values change. Society changes, our priorities change. And a key driver in this new system will continue to be the internet and technology, of course. And this will allow us to feedback on all areas of society, ensuring we all receive fair value for our own work and efforts. And although our intentions are to end the monetary system, we must never view the goods and services we receive as free. They are not free. We pay for them with our own highly valuable time and effort. And the internet will be the tool that ensures standards are maintained in real time. And that's a huge step forward from today's global model. And this will be for all products and services available throughout our society. And now we have the ability to prioritise our social life above work, we can now look at new ways to enrich our lives. So investment into social and leisure facilities can now be prioritised after we've covered obviously the basics such as healthcare and education. And this will allow us to rethink the current typical high street shopping experience. So in a more environmentally friendly and sustainably focused society, do we really need such a huge use of resources on physical shopping? I mean, can we now reappropriate these assets for better purposes? Let me ask you, what is the purpose of manufacturing food? Wrong. It's for profit, for financial gain. And in the global free society model, profit has been removed and we can now consider only producing food that is nutritious as well as pleasing. We can decide to end certain practices that manufacturers use to create more profit, so preservatives, meat glue, chemical additives, etc., etc. Once we remove the profit element, we can concentrate purely on quality, ethics and sustainability. And now in this system, more local solutions to the supply of food make far more sense on for many reasons. And healthcare must obviously be a priority for us all. And with the removal of personal profit from this sector and therefore the negative influence of big pharma, we can once again have complete faith in our health providers and services, which is very, very important. And simplified laws is seen as an imperative to a free and empowered society. And we wish to abolish any laws that infringe on the individual's rights to do with their lives as they see fit, as long as these actions do not or cannot cause harm to another person, to property or to nature. And this of course applies to the topic of recreational drugs, where the ongoing so-called war is causing more harm than good. Not to mention the huge and needless drain on resources and the cost to life. The global solutions to date have proven far worse than the perceived problem, and the war cannot be won, and ending it, we believe, is the only sensible option. The media has shown in recent months exactly how powerful it is and how it can influence to push agendas instead of doing what it was always intended to report the news fairly and honestly to the wider population. And for sure, removing the monetary system and the current political system will of course change this dynamic enormously. However, we feel this integral part of our global society should be more stringently regulated with more serious consequences for deliberate misinformation or just pure lies. Population control globally is a concern for us all. And from the data freely available, it is obvious that the more developed a country is, the smaller the family unit. And our overall long-term plan or goal is to bring every country into the global free society concept, allowing us to develop all areas with a view to making them self-sustainable and safe for all its peoples. And ending the monetary system widens our ability to achieve this immensely and allows us to consider alternative strategies to housing, to healthcare, and even food production. Population control through regional development is a major tactic to developing a sustainable future for planet Earth. Strategy 6. Combine our knowledge. The entire global free society concept depends upon a united planet with free access to all. No need for permission to travel anywhere. No need for certificates or the right documentation to enjoy your planet. And we believe that the vast amount of wars, territory disputes and general antagonisms are driven and propagated by the ruling parties for their own benefits, their own agenda. And the solution to these perpetual problems must come from us, the very people these ongoing issues always affect. We deeply understand the term divide and conquer, which is why we will demonstrate by our actions how humanity can accomplish great feats when it is united. And in this new system, it is of benefit to everyone to share all our research and knowledge and our technologies for the benefit of all. And removing forced competition naturally produces shared opportunity. And it is opportunity that will unite humanity, not adversity. The system also recognises not only people's individuality, but also a nation's individuality. And we are definitely not trying to produce a stereotypical cookie-cutter type of society, quite the opposite. The system celebrates each region's culture and history, and it encourages diversity and is extremely product and service orientated. Even more than in the current capitalist model. Hard to believe, I know. The system is not pure socialism. It is not pure capitalism. It takes the very best of both concepts and marries them together into a system we call common sensism. And although yes, this is a rather tongue-in-cheek terminology, but it represents the entire concept extremely well. Because it is common sense to not want to kill each other in needless wars. And it is common sense to not want to compete needlessly with each other. And it's common sense to share our advancements. And it's common sense to share our resources. It's common sense to invest in education. It's common sense to guarantee all freedoms. It's common sense to remove artificial boundaries. And it's common sense to unite in a global vision for humanity. And it's common sense to prioritise the individual's happiness. Hence, common sensism. And with the end goal achieved, a united global population, we can finally witness an end to war. And with the politicians and the monetary system removed, that's an even more likely outcome, wouldn't you say? Strategy 7. Let's make this happen. What also makes this system unique and interesting is that we have a plan. The ideals are executable. It's not just wishful ideology. The very first stage is awareness, which is the stage we're at now. And the next stage will be to start researching into each country to compile a list of resources. And that research will then drive further research into which countries would be the most beneficial for the first phase of the rollout. Can't run with all countries from the start, and it needs to ideally be several countries. The ideal being total self-sufficiency between these founding countries. And that data would also highlight what new facilities we might need to build, what resources we are not self-sufficient in and need to import. So imported goods in the initial phase would be sourced in the open markets and paid for with our society income. So income from multiple sources. And most of that is detailed in the book. The research phase is essential as we will need to not only convince the wider population that this new proposed model will work, but we need to convince ourselves. And if we cannot make the model work, we will produce a plan B, where the monetary system is concerned anyway, which would be a much fairer and honest form of global currency. Plan B is not thought of as any type of success because Any monetary system, even a much fairer one, is still a control system. And if you control the money, you control the people. But as no one has ever done this before, then it would be prudent to have a solid plan B also. And the next step is to create political parties within each country. So Global Free Party is the political aspect. And the main aim of these parties is to gain political power within the identified founding countries. And once installed, the next stage is to propose the new system of pure democracy and show a working model of how exactly that would function and be administered. And the end goal is a new system allowing everyone to participate in guiding the direction of humanity. And we would then need to put the new system in place, but only through a nationwide referendum. And establishing a system of pure democracy in each of the identified founding member countries is critical, but it does not need to be achieved in one instance. And at the same time, we will further invest into research into the feasibility of introducing a money-free society. And the cost would be shared between all participating political parties or countries, so lessening the financial burden upon just one part. And that's the beauty of working collaboratively. We always share the burden. And when we feel we have enough data provable through working models, simulations, then we present those findings to the entire planet. And although this data is primarily to convince the founding countries, we also need to start seeding the second phase and the third phase in countries, etc. So the next stage is to hold another referendum on the founding country, within the founding countries, and this time to get approval for ending the monetary system. And once agreed, we would then issue an additional international society trading currency, which we will use to obtain any goods or services we have already identified as non-producible ourselves, producible ourselves. Well, temporarily at least. And then we move into the physical stage, so to speak. So in order to end the monetary system, we will need to slowly reduce our perception of the value of money. So it's a bit like reducing the dosage to a drug addict over time. And at the end, the withdrawal is far less problematic. So the method to achieve this is to introduce mandatory discounts to all products and services. And the example in the book is over a 10-year period, but could more likely be over a 20-year period. So it goes like this. Years 1 and 2, we introduce a 20% discount on everything. Years 3 and 4, a 40% discount. Years 5 and 6, a 60% discount, etc. Finally, in the last years, 9 and 10, or 19 and 20, we go to 90% discount. And of course, we'll need to ban inflation within our society, which is quite easy as most goods already have at least a rough market value established to them. In addition to this strategy, we will need to make all essential services nationalised very early on. So, banking, transport, education, healthcare, energy providers, possibly fuel and possibly communication. And these measures combined will drastically increase every person's spending power immediately over this period. And it's designed to reduce the inevitable temporary increase in consumption when we do finally go moneyless. And with all the tactics that we have in place to bring into being a sustainable and environmentally friendly production capability, this is a known and expected effect. But just remember, this global vision is a marathon, not a sprint. We're in this for the long term. And any independent business put at risk from this action will be indemnified by our society. But they will enjoy the huge drop in overheads from the cheaper wholesale prices because the discounts apply to suppliers also. And plus they'll benefit during the rollout phase from the loss of the many charges for the services we've now nationalised. So in year 10 or 20, we finally turn off the computer and end the monetary system. All debts within our society are paid, your house is your house, even if it's rented. And all loans, etc. are ended, paid up. All debts we incurred within our society borders on the behalf of our new global free society are also ended. And we will maintain a monetary system for importing goods that we still cannot produce ourselves. So coffee might be an example. The next phase, once we have proven our model, is to introduce more countries for phase 2, while seeding countries for phase 3 and so on. All the while greatly reducing our military presence globally, which will remain only in sufficient numbers for our adequate defence, thus freeing up another huge amount of physical resources and manpower. So we're now in a system that highly values people that can actually do stuff. And the days of the middleman are gone in this system, and we only work for each other. So that sounds like a much better system to me. So how did I do? Okay, so over 30 minutes, so I failed. But I think you knew I was going to go over 30 minutes, didn't you? But if, like us, you are worried at the lack of development in the world today, the continual wars, global corruption, lack of meaningful action on ecological and sustainable concerns, feeling of overall lack of purpose, and the ever-decreasing personal freedoms and rights, possibly leading to a technocracy, then please look at the longer videos and maybe even read the free book. And if you feel that our version of a future for humanity is better than the one that you're currently facing, then please make contact on any or all of our media channels. With enough support and with your help, we can be the change that is so desperately needed on planet Earth today. And I honestly hope that you will join us. So thank you very much for listening to me, and hopefully see you soon. Thank you.